Okay, cool. It is live. Hello, people out there. Hope you can see me. Hope this is coming through good. My name is Malcolm Whitfield. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Comic Creators TV, where we talk to comic creators on TV. On the internet. You understand how that works. We're here. I'm here at Pop Rock, and the camera's flipped, and that always confuses me. I am super excited for today's show because not only do we have an incredible creator who's worked with Marvel and DC and Image and a bunch of other indie stuff, we also have a hometown legend. I wonder if he knows that that's how I refer to him. Everyone, please help me in welcoming the busiest man in comics, Mr. Clayton Cowles. Clayton Cowles.
Hey, hi.
Hey, can you hear the applause from everyone out on their computers and laptops?
Yes, thank you, America.
Yeah, it's all over America. People are weeping. I'm getting reports of weeping.
Wow.
Well, thank you for doing the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I had a nice chill day. How are you doing?
It's, not bad at all. I it was okay. I went to urgent care because my girlfriend's got a tonsil thing that she has not been acknowledging, but that is neither here nor there. I'm super.
That is the hot gossip we tuned in for.
The hot goss. That's what people come for, the comic creators, and they stay for the hot goss. That's I like to give people something to like ease into the gossip.
Yeah, the tangents are the best part of any program.
Truly are. So you understand.
Yeah.
Well, happy God, what day of the quarantine is it now? Like 400? 400?
I don't know. I know it's week 8.
Is it week 8? Oh,
yeah, I think so.
So much longer. Where have you been locked down, staying in place?
For the most part, my life hasn't changed that much because I lived a very stay-at-home, solitary lifestyle to begin with.
I feel like every creator and artist I've talked to has said something close to that.
Yeah, I'm probably I probably just did an impression of somebody I know.
Yeah, like just right in line with everyone who makes comics right now, I'm guessing.
Yeah, some people like left the house more for others because they have kids or whatever, but nope, it's just me and 2 cats, and they're indoor cats anyway.
It's also me and 2 cats. It's also me and 2 cats. What are your cats?
All right. And poor tonsillectomy girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about her. I was mainly
already. She hasn't been gone that long.
That's true. I think that's true.
Wow.
Okay. Let's see. I'm
glad you're coping, but
oh no, everything just beeped on my computer. Okay. Let's see. I talked about the cat.
She knows.
And she's got a sixth sense about that. Let's see. So, as an artist, how has this been? Because the whole comic book industry, I'm sure people have noticed, has kind of grinded to somewhat of a standstill lately. This week is the first shipment of new comics that have gone out for comic shops everywhere. I'm actually super stoked about it. I got 2 big boxes here that I get to go through and just finally put out. How's that been for you?
It's hard to say. I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about, but my workload at DC has been pretty much unchanged. But at other publishers, it's been a bit more inconsistent. I'm still working, but some books have paused, and some books are pressing on full speed ahead, and other books are trying to use this to their advantage and get as far ahead of schedule as possible. This week I've only worked on 2 books, and normally it would be closer to 5 or 6 in an average week, and it hasn't been more than 4 at a time since this whole thing began.
Okay, and that's not as in line as it was in the before. I've been calling this the before times,
right?
In the before everything changed.
Yeah, that's a nice Stranger Things way to put it.
Exactly. I kind of do feel like we're in an apocalyptic period, and that's kind of a bummer to me because this is when I found out I don't have real skills. I can't hunt or forage or anything.
Neither do I.
I cannot build a fire. If we were roving nomadic packs of people, there'd be okay, let's see, you were a butcher, so why don't you go hunt and chop up the meat for us? And Malcolm, you worked in marketing, right? Why don't you just do some trust falls in the corner? I don't know if anyone has need for my skill set right now.
That is way more useful than creating word balloons for comic books. At least with marketing, you have people skills.
That's arguable. People are going to need
the best I can do is say, Yeah, you should emphasize different words when you're talking.
Well, I was gonna say it's like in the cave paintings and stuff like that where you'd see the buffalo, but in your case it'd just sort of be like you'd see the buffalo and then you would like write in like "roo" or something like that.
Yeah, I
Which
need the buffalo first.
that's true. So we'd need to figure that out. It is not interesting. I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to talk about what you actually do, which is you are a comic letterer. I was like looking around. I was just like, I wish I had some of Clayton's comics. And then I'm like, I'm in a comic book store and Clayton's name is on half of our inventory. I just grabbed one that I just found. This is Batman and the Outsiders, awesome arc from the Year of the Villain stuff. And that's all you, right?
Yeah, I remember that Destroy You.
That's one of the good Destroy Yous you've done.
Thank you. It looks a lot like all the other Destroy Yous I've done in my day.
Well, I know that you're a letterer and everything, but for people who might not be as familiar with all the roles in creating and producing comic books, could you give a little background description of what exactly a letterer does?
I'd be more than happy to. Essentially, I am given a comic book with a script and drawn artwork, and it's my job to turn the script into word balloons and sound effects to be placed on top of the art. So all of those blams and kerthwaps and I wonder ifs, etc. That's all me.
Nice. All the fun, like Adam Westy, Batman type stuff. Very cool. This stuff.
Bomb.
And honestly, it gives a lot of comics like a flavor, because obviously you have great illustrations and stuff in there, but look at that zizzack, that electricity. It's the scope of it. It's huge. It really like sets you in that tone. It just sort of helps to like create that like world in your head.
Yeah, those Jefferson sound effects are really good.
Yeah,
I guess I could call them Black Lightning because regular people are listening to this. You can't call superheroes by their first names.
I do this all the time, especially when I talk about X-Men because they're also informal.
Oh yeah, Scott, Jean, Chuck.
I was watching, I just saw Dark Phoenix, and I was talking to my girlfriend about that. I was just like, I can't believe what they did to Curtin. If they like watered him down, she's like, oh, do you know Curtin? I'm like, sorry. It's like I feel like I'm in like a secret club. Like
he is Nightcrawler from the circus in Munich.
Exactly. If anything, I feel kind of like snobby about it. Like, well, I call him Kurt. Like that's kind of how I feel about it. So yeah, doing a lot of the onomatopoeia and the writing, and it's still a very cool, incredible thing because it does add like that specific sort of like voice. I read comics, I'm sure everyone does, in different voices and all that. And it's very helpful to even see like Iron Man's talking as compared to Tony Stark. Iron Man's text is in like yellow and red block letters, like a robot is talking to you. It's a very cool thing. And you have been, do you even know how many comics you've worked on at this point?
Not exactly. I think this is a rough estimate, but I think it's about 4,000.
4,000, and this is over how long have you been doing this?
I just had my 11-year anniversary.
Hey, happy anniversary!
Thank you. 11 years. 11 years, 11 miles.
And 11 more to go. I don't know if you plan on stopping in 11 years. But yeah, it is. I'm hard pressed to find a book that does not say, if it's from Marvel or anything, like VC's Clayton Cowles on it. I was at home when I posted for this show. I specifically just grabbed my entire inventory that I just have at my place, and I just like culled it to the ones that you had lettered on, and I still ended up with like a huge set, like at least a fifth of what the stuff that and that's just the stuff that I have like right there, not counting like my parents' place or any of the other like little stashes that I have throughout the city in case things go bad. Just not the ones buried in the park somewhere.
You have stashes.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And you'll never.
Game is afoot.
Where are they? That is for my children to find in my will. Just the ones I think are going to be.
I don't know, man. People are listening to this, and people are bored.
People are bored, but they don't know exactly which parts, do they?
They know it.
People that know me know I know
parts. Step 1.
I did narrow it down way too much.
Step 2, they got a mask and glove up. Get out there, practice social distancing while they go on their treasure hunt.
Exactly. Look,
you should not have said this stuff.
You're all welcome to my treasure, but please practice social distancing while you're out there looking for all of my stashes. That's the only thing I ask.
And read the books with tweezers.
Oh yeah.
Heat
Please
them over
do.
a candle first. Let's keep it sterile.
Exactly. Thank you. See, you understand.
I've seen that one Simpsons episode.
That one.
Yeah,
Man, I
that's the
keep
only
going
one.
back to your stuff. I was gonna say, I earlier today, before I got here, even I was since new comics were out, I was like on Comixology on my phone, and I was just like looking through titles, new stuff, and I saw this book that I had heard about. I'm like, oh, Ludocrats. That looks cool. It looks like funny white rich people. And as soon as I purchased it, lettered Clayton Cowles. I can't escape you. I cannot escape you. But
It's a Kieran book. I'm doing like 9 out of 10 of his.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm Kieran Gillen's go-to guy. Whenever
I was
possible,
gonna say
we're
you're
working
always
together.
because you worked with him on Die as well, and
Correct.
Wicked and Divine, which was the best. Kudos to you guys,
Thank
all
you.
on that work. I remember
We're very proud.
at my marketing job, I would read that online instead of doing work. And I don't know if you can tell, I do not work there anymore. So thank you in part for that. It was very
I'm glad
cool.
our book about death and uncertainty got you through this job alive.
It was, I was going through a few of the same things, if you could believe it. So,
What was it like being a god?
what was it like? Oh man, Ball was my guy in that. Sackmet was my girl in that. It was just a very, very cool thing. I would like regularly it consumed my mind. And now Die is the next thing that I've just been like focused on. Actually, over here at Pop Rock, yep, there it is. Love Die. We all love it over here.
So do I. It's my favorite job right now.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Like whenever a new issue comes in, I'm excited. I drop everything and dive into it as soon as possible. Like Kieran and Stephanie are two of my oldest friends / collaborators in comics, and they're just both at the top of their game with this book.
Very cool. Well, shout out to them.
I'm trying not to sound like a shill. I don't think it's working.
No, it's totally fine. Look, the one thing
I'm passionate about this job, but I can only express it.
Look,
in a
we
sterile
hate
way.
when people like plug their own things on our show. Pop Rock mug, $12. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, we don't like when people plug on the show. Now I wanted to
Die. We were talking about Die.
Anyway, Die. I wanted to bring up. I'm actually the way I found out. Well, not found out about you, but found out that we're like 1 degree apart. Is I don't know if you know this is the situation, but in February I had like a little birthday thing. In the before times, of course.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy
A little belated, or early, depending on your perspective.
Sure.
But I, at my birthday party, one of my friends, Allison Cote, she came to it, and we were talking, and she knows I'm into comics. She's like, "Oh, Malcolm, do you know that my brother works in comics?" And I was like, "Oh, no way! What does he do?" And I'm thinking like he's like, oh, he wrote his own thing. I'd love to like get into like that little indie thing. He's like, his name's Clayton. And then the gears started turning like Clayton VCs, Clayton Cowles. It's like you have to say the whole thing based on how often you see it. So then I had like a little fangirl moment at Allison. It's from what I know about Allison and what I know about your family, you're all just artists. You're all just artists in your own right. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the short version.
That's the short. I know your dad.
The nuclear family is all artists.
Okay, the core, like the core.
Yeah, the 4 of us:
Very cool.
mom, dad, me, and her.
I know your dad is because and again, I cannot escape your family. I just went to my parents' place. My parents are out of town, and I went to my dad's place to mow his lawn. Just keep things. I go in his house, and he has this great big picture that I've seen a million times, and then I just looked in the corner. It says David Cowles. I'm just like, I cannot escape this family.
Which one was
it? It's the one. Now I know that this is not who it is, but we've all been calling it Pirate Steve Harvey. I don't. It's a dude with a mustache, and he has like a parrot and like a hat. I think it's Garth Fagan.
Oh, probably.
But we knew it like growing up or not growing up over the last couple of years as Pirate Steve Harvey. But it's fantastic, and I love it. And all the connections just clicked because I know Allison, fantastic artist locally. She does a lot of cool posters, and she did the Lilac Festival poster last year as well.
Yep.
And now, are you also based in Rochester?
Yeah. I bought a house here a couple of years ago. I like it here in Rochester. It's cheap.
It's cheap and good and cool and great and
Yeah,
great.
super
Well,
cheap.
can I ask, what was it like growing up in just like the most artistic environment?
It's hard to say because having grown up there, it's all I really know, and I don't have much to compare it to because I'm an antisocial personality. Uh,
You're doing great right now.
Thank you. I practiced in front of a mirror.
Like verbatim, this conversation.
Yeah, I'm reading you like a book, man.
See, I knew you when you asked me to send you a script. I was like wondering why, but now I get it.
I'm a little nervous. It was good. Well, I don't know if they want me talking about this, but I lived in two different houses growing up because my parents split up, but they each ran their houses very differently, and it's sort of expressed in their style of artwork. So just to clear the air, like my mother is also local celebrity Laura Wilder, and
The Laura Wilder.
I know, right?
You heard everyone gasp like watching on their phones and computers, right? Like I heard it like loud and clear.
Yeah, the woman whose art you see in all those rich people's houses, that's my mom. And her style is it's very refined, and the way that she runs her house is sort of reflected in it. Mom likes to keep a clean house, and she's good and like she's big on rules and eating right and stuff. And my dad's house is a lot more colorful, like his artwork. So there was a combination of not authoritarianism by any means, but certainly a more restrained upbringing for half of the week, and the other half of the week it was just a free for all. And it's fortunate that Allie and I were both very well behaved because that could have gone really badly.
Well, I'm glad for so is any of that influence, do you think, does any of that translate to any of your work? I don't know if you have art that you're doing independently or if you're working on your own projects, creating like that. Would your upbringing, I guess, be reflected in what you do?
100%. Yeah, not just in my art, but in how I live. Since I got to grow up in these two different houses with very different styles, I try to live my life by cherry picking the best parts from both of them. So I also like to keep a clean house, but I have more eclectic artwork on the walls, like this Johnny Quest poster behind me.
I was going to comment on that. And also, yeah.
So a lot of my house is stuff like that, but also in a really nice custom frame because that's how my mom takes care of her artwork. And my dad is a thrift store frame or something.
That's also like a good symbol of like a nerd grown up. You keep the same posters and everything.
Yeah,
you just throw a frame on it.
Yeah, don't touch them.
Yeah.
And I think lettering is like time to get pretentious. I think it's kind of the ultimate synthesis of their two worlds because I'm working in comics, but I'm treating lettering with the same sort of discipline that my mom treats her artwork in her life. So like, yeah, I'm working in a zany medium, but I'm trying to bring order to the chaos in a way by keeping everything like still like appropriately fun or appropriately dour, like whatever atmosphere the book calls for. But at the same time, I'm trying to, rein things in so it's all still legible so the reader knows what's going on.
And I think that's reflected perfectly in all of your work. I think you got the best of both worlds there.
Thank you.
It's really cool what you've been able to do. And now for 11 years, God, 11 years doing this, 11 years I've been aware of your work and your contribution to the industry as well. And
wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, I know. Listen, I fangirl constantly over all of this stuff. I love it.
Oh, I love fangirls. They're the best.
Speaking of, do you ever get you've been doing this for a while. Do you ever hit up conventions or get feedback or anything like that?
What do you mean by feedback?
Oh, like do people send you fan letters or on Twitter? I spend a lot of time on Twitter. All I do is yell at politicians and praise comic heroes. Those are the two things I do on Twitter.
That's an interesting yin and yang you got there.
Yeah, right?
I don't get much praise online, at least not direct praise. Most of my mentions are just as for books that I work on or people wanting to talk to Tom King or Donnie Cates or whoever. And my name is just included out of a sense of politeness, I guess.
Oh, pish posh. I bet, you know what it is? I think everyone's too nervous. That's got to be it.
Could be. Yeah, I am very antisocial and intimidated, but I go to conventions once in a while. I limit it to maybe one convention a year because I don't do well in crowds, and traveling takes a lot out of me. And,
it is a nightmare.
And I went to New York Comic Con last year for the first time in a while, and I had an amazing time. The crowds were surprisingly manageable, and everyone there was super cool and nice, and I got to drink with people who I don't get to see very much. That was great.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Donnie Cates and Dylan and all those guys. Just people that who are some of your favorite collaborators in the industry?
Well, the aforementioned Kieran Gillen.
Kieran Gillen, what a cool dude.
And Donnie Cates, writer of Venom.
Donnie Cates had a year last year, I guess.
There are very many. Jordi Belair. She's one of my very best friends in the world, period. And working on her book, Redlands, is some of the most fun I've ever had. Yeah.
Can you talk about Red Lance a little bit?
Pardon?
Can you talk about Red Lance a little bit? That seems to be like the one thing I must have missed. I'm not as familiar with that one.
Okay. It's an Image book that was coming out last year and a little bit the year before about 3 witches who take over a town in rural Florida.
Like that also does sound like a headline that you would hear like now about Florida. So it very much could be based on a true story.
Be based on a true story. Jordi grew up in Florida herself, so a lot of it is drawn from personal experience. And as far as I know, she's still either an aspiring witch or an actively practicing witch.
Okay, well then that adds another layer of realism to that, I guess.
I can't recommend the book enough. It's one of my favorite things that I've ever worked on, and it's just a joy to read. Like the rage in that book is palpable.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
The rage in that. So if you are into comics but also into rage, please check out Red Lance.
And on that note, Kelly Sue DeConnick is also one of my favorite collaborators.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm being sincere.
Shouts out to all of these people we've mentioned. Check out these projects and all that. Go to your local comic book store and ask around about it, or go on, there's all these different venues for it. But I recommend going to a local comic book store. Again, all of Clayton Cowles stuff, if you are interested in it, just come on down. I just point to a spot on the wall. 3 or 4 of those books, Clayton's handiwork is going to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the things I was just going through the last time I did this, I was talking to Graham Nolan, one of the creators of Bane.
Right.
And gearing up for that, I actually I reread Nightfall, which was cool, and then I read City of Bane, like that whole arc that dropped last year. That again, you're in that. I think that's Tom King. Is that Tom King?
Yes, another favored collaborator.
Mm-hmm. Another cool dude. And
I don't want to leave anyone out. Matt Fraction.
just throwing names out there now.
I gotta drop some names fast.
Yeah. I was gonna ask about that, but what about, you sort of mentioned you like Red Lance and Die. What are some of what are some of the best projects, some of your favorite projects that you've worked on?
Pitch Planet.
Yeah. Oh, I read that. It was one of those things when I was at Barnes and Noble with my mom, and I was like, I'm gonna look at comic books, and I go and I pick that up. She comes over. She's like, "What are you reading?" Had one of those. And I was like, hilarious. Uh-oh. Sorry, Mom, who is watching. And shouts out to Laura Wilder. Woo. Who commented.
Mom's here. Mom heard me. My mom heard me say bitch. Damn it.
No. It's cool. This isn't live. I'll share it. No, it's live. It's very live.
She's heard me say worst.
But City of Bane, I truly did love. I thought it was a really cool, different take on Bane, and is it a spoiler if it's been months? Thomas Kane Sorry if that was a spoiler in it. It was a very just fun project. Can I ask how long it generally takes to letter, like start to finish from when you get the assignment?
It depends on the book. Some writers have more stuff than others, and some artists require a little more gymnastics to get around. But typically these days, between an average book will take me about 4 to 6 hours. And that's about how long Tom King books usually take me, unless he asks for something really huge, like that one issue. I don't remember if it was a City of Bane issue or a City of Bane prelude issue. John Romita Jr. drew it, and it had something like 28 sound effects on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so it's just like
that
bang, whiz, pow, and then like someone's cell phone ringing in the back. You just throw in like a little deedle deep. Just
yeah,
like something like that. Just really shapes the whole world. Yeah. So just a lot of that. Man, are you?
Yeah, that page took me at least an hour.
I imagine when you're making some of these sound effects, it's a little bit like Foley work, where before you write it, like you need a crashing sound effect. You just like maybe like knock a vase off the shelf and then just hear like that crash and go like it was like kind of like a. That's how I've been imagining it.
I use the power of imagination.
Ooh, look at that. That would not work for me. If I need to shatter glass, I think I will need to shatter a glass for that. And that is why I don't have nice things, everyone. So a couple more questions for you. You mentioned before you are a Rochester-based artist. Was there any debate over whether or not you should work in, closer to where the action is in New York City or LA or anything? If so, why not move there for your work?
As a matter of fact, during my second year on the job, I moved to New Jersey, where I had been living before. I went to the Joe Kubert School, and it's right.
You're the second Kubert alum we've had on here.
Yeah, Graham's the first, right?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I spent 3 years there in Morris County in northern New Jersey, and I came here for a year to live with my dad to get my career off the ground because I had no money. And then I went back to Jersey to be closer to the action and to be with my girlfriend at the time. And living in Jersey, it really didn't affect my job at all. I saw my coworkers maybe once the whole time I was down there. And
wow.
And yeah, because we're all just so busy.
Right, exactly.
We don't have time to see each other.
4,000 books.
Yeah, like
so far.
Like the workload I have, like everyone else at VC, they're crunching similar numbers. So like, yeah, we're all just sitting in our basements or guest rooms all day, just plugging away at lettering. We don't have time to go get lunch with each other. And so then my relationship with my girlfriend ended, and the cost of living in Jersey was really high, and I decided I'll move back to Rochester. It's where my family is, and I don't regret it.
And truly, you could be doing the same thing here that you were doing there.
Yeah. Oh, one reason I did move to New Jersey was because the internet in Rochester was really bad.
Hey, shouts out to the horrible connection we've been getting over the years, Rochester.
But once the time came where I had to decide whether to move back or not, fiber optic was finally being rolled out around here. So I'm like, okay, great. It won't take me 20 minutes to upload a PDF, and I won't get fired. I can afford to move back to Rochester now.
Right, like at a time when like literally every second counts with your job. I mean, you guys are cranking out work like left and right. Like I said, also, I keep wanting to throw one of these in. If you're just tuning in, I'm Malcolm Whitfield. This is Clayton Cowles. He lettered every single comic book. That is what he told me at the top. He's the only person lettering comics. He's the hardest working person here.
Yeah, ignore what I just said about those other people.
Yeah. If you're just tuning in, you wouldn't know that. But it's very cool. Well, Rochester's glad to have you. I speak on behalf of everybody.
Thank you. I accept your key to the city.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna ship that out to you. It should be about 2 weeks.
Okay. Please sterilize it first.
Of course. We're in a crisis.
I will be using this key to open doors, like that thing
and it
you
works.
see in Instagram ads. Yeah.
It works on everything. Speaking of the quarantine, I have been binge watching and binge reading everything. is there any other nerdy projects that you've nerdy shows or movies or anything else that you've been getting into? I'm talking like, Harry Potter stuff, anime, Lord, any other part of nerd culture that you're indulging in?
Well, lucky for me, once the pandemic hit, Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, and I played that start to finish.
Nice,
I was
nice.
glad to have the downtime to give that game the 50-ish hours that it needed. I had to explore every inch of that city. Other than that, my consumption habits haven't really changed. I'm watching Dead to Me season 2, which is not nerdy in the slightest.
But it's still good. The way I describe it, if you have one passion that you obsess about, then that is like your nerdiness. I told that to my dad about basketball, and he did not see it the same way. He did not see it the same way there. I know myself, I've been burying myself in Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I'd never really done it before the quarantine. I'd played like a couple sessions here and there, and then I was like, all right, I'm finally doing it. Texted my brother, he got me in a campaign he's in, and now it's the only thing I think about. It's truly consumed every fiber of my being, and I don't know how I'm going to be once this quarantine is over. Once people like start leaving their homes, I don't know if I'll be able to acclimate to society.
Thank you for reading Die.
Yeah, it started. It truly did start it. The classes you have in Die, though, they're very cool. There's the Godbinder. Who would be calling a closed business right now? Who is doing this? Real quick, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to go turn the phone off. So just be thinking about this. Do you have any quirky stories from working in the comic book biz? Okay, hang on.
Okay, before that guy gets back, I was elected Marvel's Hunk of the Month in August 2011 after the Spider-Man editor at the time saw my picture and he thought I looked like Justin Bieber. And that's why I have different hair now. What else? I did those 28 pages. Oh, careful, he's back.
Sorry, it was Cutco.
What's Cutco?
I'm glad you asked. I can send you some products.
Is this an ad?
Did you answer the question? Were you just sort of mulling it over? I
answered it, but it's a secret. It's between me and America.
That's fine. You know what? I will rewatch it later when I rejoin the rest of you.
Okay.
I do have another audience comment or audience question.
Okay.
This one's from Ty. Have you gotten into the Blade Runner comic?
The Blade Runner comic? No, I have not. I only saw the movie once, and it was fine. I haven't seen the...
Are you talking the Harrison Ford one or the...
Yeah, the original one.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't remember which cut it was. If it was theatrical or director's cut, I can't.
It's one of those ones. Yeah, that's one of those things. For me, you have to be really in the right space to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I gotta be like have nothing else to do. I have to clear my mind of everything. I was like, all right, now I'll start Blade Runner.
Yeah, I'm like that with Dunkirk or 1917 or any other epic war film.
Oh yeah, epic war stuff is another thing. Truly, like you need space to like think, and I've been telling people this a lot. As like, I don't know if this is just me or maybe like a thing about a very like straight man thing, but now I can't tell if any movie. Yeah, I can't tell if any movie is like good or just loud. I can't tell anymore. Like the lines have like blurred. I'm having.
If you don't notice the loud, it's good.
Yeah, that's a good litmus test right there.
I give the same litmus test to lettering because I can't help but pay attention to it. But if I'm reading a book and I don't notice the lettering, that means it's good. Not just the lettering; the entire book is good.
Okay, cool. That is a good way to think about it. In that case, well, I wonder if it's different for me because I specifically read something and check out every single part of the work, like But what can I say? I'm a connoisseur.
You're in good company, mon frere.
We both just have like wine. I do have a very interesting comment. It's from from Alex C. In Rochester saying, "Bring back the Bieber hair." That seems like maybe somewhat of an inside joke there.
Yeah, you'll get it when you listen to this again.
Got it. Let's see. What do you think of this is from Brett? What do you think of Tower of God? If you've seen it, it started as a webtoon in Korea. Ooh, deep cut from Brett. Is that something you've checked out yet?
What's Tower of God? Is that a religious thing?
You know what? It could be. Has he heard of Tower of God?
Nope.
Nope, never heard of it. Let's see. Tower of God. I
know Tower of Power. They were a good band. If they came
All
to
right.
Jasper,
Well,
I'd go see
what
them.
do you think about them? Maybe the answer could be the same.
If you're listening, Tower of Power, I will come to your show, masked and gloved.
All right, you heard this. They're furiously like writing letters for me to stop mentioning them. They sent me a cease and desist already. It is in the mail. All right, I do have just a couple more questions for you, if that's all right.
Of course.
Something I like, something we like to ask comic creators. If you have any like advice or strategies or tips for anyone trying to get into the comic industry, or someone who's maybe like another creator out there who doesn't have like as high of a profile, do you have any advice or anything there?
Well, besides the usual work hard and don't give up.
Oh, that's actually new. I don't think anyone said work hard yet.
Seriously?
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, work hard, don't give up, sure.
Aside from the usual boilerplate, another name drop is coming, but one piece of advice that I saw sometime recently came from editor extraordinaire Heather Antos. Heather. And it was don't take criticism from people who you wouldn't go to for advice.
Solid advice.
Yeah, and also, if you are an aspiring creator, you should absolutely build up a circle of friends and peers who you can trust and go to for advice, and who you should listen to 100%.
There you go.
That's one of my, like, the ability to like gracefully take criticism and to be able to weed out the good from the bad it's essential. That's a skill worth developing.
Well said. Very well said. All right, Brett is just still dropping facts about Tower of God here on us, which I'm not sure if that matters as much to you.
I think he's making this up.
He must be. He must be. Well, I want to say, I think, how do you end these things? I'm just having a good time talking to you and all that. Anyway, well,
keep talking. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, well, I got to get out of here soon. People are lurking. They got signs. They got signs that say, like, we love you. Good morning, America. I think they're lost. But Clayton, I do want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Like I said, like you said, you're a very busy person. I'm sure you got to keep that ticker run. You got to keep that count up. You're at 4,000 plus books.
I'm just going to take a walk, I think.
Well, thank you for talking to us anyway.
You're very welcome. I had a good time.
Oh, do you have any, did you want to drop where people can find your work, or a plug, or an account name, anything?
My work can be found at your local comic shop.
Your local comic shop. You heard him. Come to your local comic shop and check out some work from Mr. Clayton Cowles, and also all the VC guys. They're great.
Yes, we are. I can be found on Twitter at my name, Clayton Cowles. I don't post very much, and when I do, it's because I want you to do something. And aside from that, there's stuff coming out. I think Declan Shalby, there's that name drop. Would like me to mention that the original graphic novel Bog Bodies is coming out next week, which he wrote, and we'll also be promoting that online sometime on the 27th. So tune in for that.
All right.
And Ludocrats came out.
Ludocrats, yes. Check out Ludocrats. That is also my recommendation too.
Okay, cool. And for stuff that I don't work on, I guess I'll plug Witch Hat Atelier, the best drawn manga since Akira. I just put up 5 grades of it today.
Heavy praise right there.
I'm dead serious, and I am a fan of like numerous manga creators. Like it's sublime, and I recommend checking it out, especially if you're into Hayao Miyazaki and cute little witches. Okay, everyone's ears perked up when you said Hayao Miyazaki, which is kind of a bummer because it's the end of the interview. Why would you just now start listening? Well, Clayton, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck out there. Stay safe. Same to you. Distance and all that. All right, have a good one. You too.
That That was a lot of fun, you guys. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. If you didn't tune in, luckily everything lives on the internet forever. So we'll see you next time. My name's Malcolm Whitfield. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at marvelous_Mal, and also follow Pop Rock at Pop Rock Culture on Instagram, and also our Facebook page, which you are on right now. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. All right, bye.